Welcome in, everybody. Let's dive right into it. So a lot of modern science fiction deals with crossing from one universe to another in some form or fashion, right? Traveling across timelines, dimensions, realities, whatever you want to call it. And we usually only see the doorway to that other place before we walk through it, right? We see the event horizon of the Stargate. We see Rick's green portal fluid hover in midair, right? We only see the door. But what if we could see the other side before going over? Let's say there was a completely different reality bordering our own, and we just happen upon a weak point in the quote-unquote dark matter that forms the boundaries between realities. And I say dark matter because a lot of people, including Neil deGrasse Tyson, have talked about dark matter as basically being this stuff that we just we throw out this name to kind of classify things that we don't understand. So if, say, we had some sort of substance that we couldn't identify, we're baffled by how it reacts to things, doesn't react to things, how it moves or sits in an environment. It doesn't seem to like the laws of physics, let's say. It's completely alien to human understanding. We call that stuff dark matter. So, let's say the border between realities is made up of this dark matter. Now, let's say there are two people on either side of that weak point in the border, and they can see each other. Now, within some manner of reason, what might these two individuals see when viewing the other side? Would they just be viewing what is actually on the other side? Or what they simply perceive to be there? What if the reality that the individuals reside in are forcing them to see things that fit their specific reality, not what is actually on the other side? So, for example, one person thinks that they are seeing another person, right? Another human being. They look very normal. They have normal clothes, hair, all that good stuff. But what is really on the other side is a massive snake tree alien with 1,000 multicolored eyes and 10 gaping mouths. Now, conversely, that alien is also seeing another alien of the same ilk instead of a human man, which is what is actually on the other side of the border. Now, this will be true for most of their actions and words spoken as well, if not all of them. If these two individuals are able to hear one another, and let's say for the sake of things that they can hear each other, because why not? So these two beings can both see and hear each other. They can speak to one another. But the boundaries between these realities are only weakened, not broken. So they're still split apart. Right? It's like seeing through an impenetrable window that you can also hear through. I don't know. Sci-fi physics are dumb, but that's kind of what makes it fun, right? And remember, these two beings are only perceiving what they believe to be real, not what actually is real on the other side. But how does this perception affect what they hear or smell? Let's say they can smell too, because if you can hear across a border between realities, why shouldn't you be able to smell? Let's say the human being on our side speaks English, right? And they're hearing what the tree snake alien is saying in perfect English as well. But in reality, the dark matter border that is on our side of reality, it's taking it a step beyond that. It's also adapting conveyed meaning and emotion into what they would be in the human's reality. So, for instance, the tree snake alien could be baring its fanged mouths and gushing bloody ichor out of its eye sockets towards the man in a violent manner. But the reality's border is translating that seemingly aggressive and evil gesture as a human being simply smiling and waving towards the man. A friendly hello. Now, again, it's not giving an accurate translation. It is only translating what is going to fit into the reality that it's dumping these conveyances into, right? So if the human speaks a word that doesn't exist in the reality of the alien tree snake lady, then the reality's border is going to translate that non-existent word into something that the alien can understand. Now, conversely, the man could say something like, "Wow, it sure is windy over there." But the translation could be something in the alien's language akin to, the world is angry and it gusts and gales until your skin is rent from your worthless corpse. Or something like that. Things that we would never say in our own reality. At least, not most of us anyway. So, our meanings would be all kind of off and wonky, and our words would be twisted and to points of being unrecognizable if they were spoken back to us. And the same would be said for the smells. Because remember, we can smell across the borders of reality if they're weakened. Now let's say that there's a fiery hellscape on the alien side. And it's latent with brimstone and sulfur, roving gas clouds, and the like. Right? The air itself is a poisonous toxin. But to us, on this side of the reality border, we smell flowers and fresh-cut grass. So it's not just speech, smell, understanding, or sight being converted or distorted. It's all of reality. And it's the two of them, the two realities doing it. So what is leaked across the border can fit into the arriving reality. Now let's take it a step beyond what we have established. These conditions that the border sets would keep things like technological advances from being shared, histories or ideologies being exchanged, since everything would be converted into what the receiving reality already holds and can comprehend. Which, is a little bit bullshit, but hey, we can't have things be too perfect in our hypotheticals, now can we? Otherwise, where's the fun in that? The story is all about the perspectives. Us as the audience being the prime perspective, right? The people reading and watching what's happening. It's us as the audience being able to see what each side cannot see and fully being able to understand both realities at once, where either viewer on their respective sides of the reality border can't. So we get to have the best of both realities. The audience gets to appreciate what's real for both individuals, and that gives us this tangible investment in the story and how it progresses from that point of realization. You know, funny enough, you could make a really interesting love story out of this kind of scenario. I think it would make for a pretty deep conversation, because not only are you dealing with the usual layers of a love story and all that goes with it, but you're also dealing with a completely different interpretation of the same expression of love and trying to see if the meanings can really transcend the borders of reality. Like if the human did something like bring flowers and recite poetry to the alien snake tree lady that he sees as a humanoid person. But the alien snake tree lady hears rants of blood-curdling violence and death threats, which to her and her race of beings equates to the same feelings and emotion one might feel in our reality if they were being wooed. And the inverse would also be true, of course. She would bring him piles of bodies and cut off the heads one by one and bathe in all of the blood that spills out, because that's what her race sees as being sexy and attractive. But of course, the human man would see a human woman in a bikini doing a one-woman wet t-shirt contest with no t-shirt. Right? I mean, this is starting to sound way too much like an episode of Love, Death, and Robots. I guess I need to get pitching to Netflix, to get in on that writing staff for the next season, I swear. I mean, this would just be such a sick and twisted psychological loop-de-loop of a story. I think it would actually spawn some pretty intense and pretty fun discussions in the forums. I mean, there's already tons of questions of, well, is it real? Is the love and affection actually real if neither person understands what the other one is doing for them? Or like, what if they could see into the other's reality, right? Would the human male be disgusted by what the alien tree snake lady is doing to the bodies and the blood and the corpses? And would he be terrified of her appearance, right? Because she's an enormous, multi-mouthed, bloody-eyed tree snake lady, right? And would she be grossed out by a hairless simian offshoot descendant who only has 2 arms and 2 legs and just 2 eyes? And what are those? Weeds? He has weeds? He's going to try and poison the tree snake lady by what, trying to feed her weeds? Get out of here. So, yeah, I think this would be a really fun story to write out, to build. And I might just do that. Never know. But that is all I have time for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stick around for more Sci-Fi Unchained. But for now, live long and prosper, my friends. And may the Force be with us all.